everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Amigos. It's Mike Fenoya. It's Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. And I just wanted to give you a quick episode to say thanks for listening. Thanks for being an amigo. Thanks for supporting. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the shitty words for the couple of you that have sent me them. And I appreciate it because I love honesty. I'm a huge fan of honesty. If you're throwing gratuity at me, that means nothing. It means you don't care. So I like hearing what you don't like, believe it or not. That's how fucked up I am in the head. I hope you guys are having a great time on your way to your families, packing, figuring out, like, do I wear sweatpants to dinner? Like, is that appropriate? But I want to eat. But jeans are skinny now, even though they are, like, flex and, like, 7% that stretchy material. Do I really want to wear jeans and, like, get the belt mark in the bottom of your belly after dessert? My favorite dessert is my mother-in-law makes this mean apple crisp, and she puts vanilla bean coconut milk ice cream on top. Holy shit. Oh, I could taste it. I'm going to chill with my dog and my wife, and we're going to relax and have a good time with family. And then I'm going to just get strong. I'm going to take a nice nap in front of the fire with football on in the background. My dog's snoring on my lap. And then I'm going to get strong. It's going to be like hibernation for the fucking wolf. And then Friday, 8:17-ish, you're going to hear that chatter, that noise, that anxiety. Everybody's going to be looking around like, yo, what are they going to open with? What the fuck are they waving? Like, holy shit, dude, that's Dave over there. What's up, dude? And then the lights are going to go down. PHiSH. New England, small venues. This is what it's all about. This is what we came to play for, everybody. All the chips, all the marbles. Island tour, 21 years later. Speaking of 20 years later, you guys should check out After Midnight, the podcast series on Osiris that documents one of the most incredible events in the history of music ever. PHiSH's New Year's Eve extravaganza down in the Everglades in Florida when they played from about quarter to midnight until the sun came up, and we all chewed our lip off, freaking out, watching the sunrise to Waiting in the Velvet Sea. But Tom and company and RJ and Jesse and everybody did a phenomenal job putting it together. So you should check out After Midnight on the Osiris Network. This is going to be a quick episode. I just want to share with you a quick, some of you, I forget that people don't know everything that I know, and I don't mean that like that. What I mean is, like, you know things that I don't, and I know things that you don't, and I've listened to things that you haven't, and you've listened to things that I haven't, and then I think sometimes we just assume, like, oh, shit, you never heard Tool? You never heard this? You never heard that? And I wanted to share with you a Thanksgiving staple, Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. So we're going to listen to that, and you enjoy it, have a good time with it. It's great. I remember listening to it for the first time. God rest his soul, my Uncle Bill, one of the coolest dudes in the world, left me, after he passed, he left me like a huge stack of amazing, like, first press records, like White Album, Sgt. Pepper's, Beggar's Banquet, you name it, man. What a cool guy. He played this for me the first time I ever heard it, Alice's Restaurant. And every time I listen to it, I think of him, and it makes me smile. So I hope you guys hear it and listen to it. If you never heard it before, enjoy. I'm thankful for all of the Amigos. I'm thankful for the Osiris Network. I'm thankful for stand-up comedy and live music and meditation and fresh air and anxiety and beer and drugs and what else? My wife, my dog, all of you. I just love being able to do this, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, enough of that shit. I want to tell you, I went to Tool at Barclay Center last week, and I am thankful for Tool because that was one of the most sonically powerful concerts I've ever been to in my entire life. I've never seen Tool live. I love them. I have loved them. They're a band that when I was in high school and, like, the video for Sober came out, I was kind of like, whatever. I didn't love them right off the bat. I kind of put them into some like weird, like I've talked about this before, even with O'Teal, which I hope you guys loved the interview. I loved chatting with him. I poo-pooed things pretty quickly at an earlier age. I would be like, nah, fucking alternative rock. Like, who gives a shit? You know, like, I hate it. I want to listen to PHiSH and the Grateful Dead and Moe and whatever. And now you go back and you listen to it and you're like, it's nostalgically great and it's cheese bag music, but it's also like, man, this was kind of fun. I wish I wasn't such a weird dickhead, you know? And Tool was just something that in the beginning I didn't really like. The video I thought was okay and cool, but it just, I don't know. Sober wasn't the song that was going to get me into them, you know? And then I got to listen to, like, in grad school, and even as an adult, I really, like, have dove headfirst into Tool, and, man, I got to tell you, they're a powerful band, and they're intelligent, and they rip. I had seats, thanks to my pal Big J, 7th row on the floor. I mean, I swear to God, I was having anxiety. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought the music was going to fucking break my arteries because it was hitting me so loud in the chest and in the sinuses and in my fucking eye sockets and in my bones. Like, I was feeling the music more than I've ever felt anything before when it comes to, like, a live show. And that includes PHiSH. I mean, I've been up close for many shows and it's been dynamite. Man, there's something about Tool that just, like, they are just loud, and there's this screen in the back that I believe the guitar player makes these movies, and it's like these very psychedelic horror movies almost, and God damn it, it's amazing. Alex Gray's art is all throughout all the movies in the background, and they have like a chain net that surrounds the band, and it opens at points and closes, and it's a short show. It was like, you know, I don't know, maybe an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. They played like 13, 14 songs. But I loved every second of it, and I would go see them 100 times if I could. Shout out to Tool. I mean, they're just fucking amazing. Go see them if you get the chance. YouTube some of the video that people shot. I mean, it's just so fucking good. They're great, man. And I remember, like, Trey in Guitar Player magazine at one point was like, Tool's the most psychedelic band out there. And that's when I was like, oh, well, if Trey likes them, then fucking, yeah, they rip. And I had friends in high school that were like, dude, you're an idiot if you're not listening to Tool. They're phenomenal. It took me a minute. But I'm glad I got to see them, and I'm glad I got to go with a great group of friends. So thank you also to everybody who came out last night to my show at the Comedy Cellar. I wanted to try something different, and I kind of threw caution to the wind and had conversations with the crowd and opened up about some stuff and talked about unconventional ways of life and whatever, and it ended up being like an hour and 3 minutes I did with, you know, I got some good stuff out of it, and the crowd was happy, and everybody came up afterwards and were like, thank you for being so honest and open, and that to me is so fun. I mean, to me, that's what comedy is, and I feel like it was a nice way to end. I mean, I'm going to be doing a couple more shows. December 7th, I'll be in Buffalo at Community Beer Works. December 14th, I'll be in Hartford, Connecticut. But it's a nice way to kind of go towards the end of this decade. This whole decade was me doing stand-up comedy, so it's been a life-changing time in you know, the history of my life, and it's cool to end it with a sold-out show at the Cellar, a room that I've always been so proud to be a part of. So thank you to everybody who came out. I love you guys. If you're going to be at PHiSH, hit me up. Let's get together. Let's have a beer. Let's fucking say hello, give each other a hug, high five. Yeah, I'll have some stickers on me. And enjoy Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. Thank you guys so much. Travel safe. Happy Thanksgiving. And let's party at PHiSH.
This song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, that's just the name of the song. And that's why I call the song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Now it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago. It was on 2 years ago on Thanksgiving when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live in the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant in the bell tower with her husband Ray and Facha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be. And having all that room, seeing as how they took out all the pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, we found all the garbage in there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the city dump. Well, we got there, and there's a big sign and a chain across the dump saying closed on Thanksgiving, and we had never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before, and with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one till we came to a side road, and off the side of the side road was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage. And we decided that one big pile was better than 2 little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did. Drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obie. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obie, cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obie for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter and said that we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go down and speak to him at the police officer station. So we got in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, headed on toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only 1 or 2 things that Obie could have done at the police station, and the first was that he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. Another thing was that he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And I said, "Obie, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." He said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car," and that's what we did, and sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this is happening here. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers and 1 police car, but when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plaster tire track footprints, dog-smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. Took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obie said he was gonna put us in the cell. Said, kid, I'm gonna put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt. And I said, Obie, I can understand you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend in the cell, but what do you want my belt for? And it said, kid, we don't want any hangings. Said, Obie, did you think I was gonna hang myself for littering? Obie said he was making sure, and friends Obie was, 'cause he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. And he took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll the toilet paper out the window, slide down the roll and have an escape. Obie was making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? It's a song about Alice. Alice came by and with a few nasty words to Obie on the side, bailed us out of jail. We went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, and didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie came in with a 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one. Sat down. Man came in, said, all rise. We all stood up, and Obie stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with the seeing-eyed dog, and he sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the seeing-eyed dog. Then the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and looked at the seeing-eyed dog. And then at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and began to cry, 'cause Obie came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. And the judge wasn't gonna look at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. And we was fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow, but that's not what I came to tell you about. Came to talk about the draft. We got a building down New York City, it's called Whitehall Street, where you walk in and you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went down to get my physical examination one day, and I walked in, I sat down, got good and drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in that morning. 'Cause I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. Man, I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York, and I walked in, sat down, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I walked in, I sat down, he gave me a piece of paper, said, kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604. And I went up there, I said, shrink, I want to kill. I mean, I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill. Kill! 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 And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill! Kill! And it started jumping up and down with me, and we was both jumping up and down, yelling, kill! Kill! And the sergeant came over, pinned the medal on me, set me down the hall, said, you're our boy. And didn't feel too good about it. Proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I was just having a tough time there. And they was inspecting, injecting every single part of me, and they wasn't leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through, and when I finally came to see the very last man, I walked in, sat down after a whole big thing there, and I walked up and said, what do you want? He said, kid, we only got one question. Have you ever been arrested? And I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre with full orchestration and 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and then all the phenomena stopped me right there and said, kid, did you ever go to court? I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. It stopped me right there and said, "Kid, I want you to go over and sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid." And I walked over to the bench there, and there's Group W is where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there. There's mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers sitting right there on the bench next to me, and they was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible and crime-fighting guys are sitting there on the bench. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of them all, was coming over to me, and he was mean and ugly and nasty and horrible and all kinds of things. And he sat down next to me and said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." He said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there to carry eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty things, till I said, "And creating a nuisance." And they all came back, shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father raping, all kinds of groovy things that we was talking about on the bench. And everything was fine. We were smoking cigarettes and all kinds of things until the sergeant came over, had some paper in his hand, held it up and said, "Kids, this piece of paper's got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words. We want to know details of the crime, time, the crime, and that kind of thing. You got to say pertaining about the crime. Want to know the rest of the officer's name, and that kind of thing. You got to say." And it talked for 45 minutes, and nobody understood a word that he said. But we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there. And I filled out the massacre with the 4-part harmony and wrote it down there just like it was, and everything was fine. And I put down a pencil and I turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quotated, read the following words: "Kid, you rehabilitated yourself." I went over to the sergeant and said, "Sergeant, you've got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids, houses, and villages after being a litter bug." He looked at me and said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. And we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington, and friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you the song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation. Or you may be in a similar situation, and if you're in a situation like that, there's only one thing you can do, is walk into the shrink wherever you are. Just walk in and say, 'Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant,' and walk out. If just one person does it, they may think he's really sick and they won't take him. And if two people do it in harmony, they think they're both faggots and they won't take either of them. And if 3 people do it, 3, can you imagine 3 people walking in, singing a bar, Alice's restaurant, and walking out? They may think it's an organization. And can you imagine 50 people a day? I said 50 people a day walking in, singing a bar, Alice's restaurant, and walking out. And friends, they may think it's a movement. And that's what it is. The Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre movement. And all you gotta do to join is to sing it the next time it comes around on the guitar with feeling. So we'll wait till it comes around on the guitar here. Sing it when it does. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. That was horrible. If you want to end war and stuff, you gotta sing loud. You could put a lot. I've been singing the song now for 25 minutes. I could sing it for another 25 minutes. I'm not proud or tired. So we'll wait till it comes around again, and this time with 4-part harmony and feeling. We're just waiting for it to come around is what we're doing. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Excepting Alice, you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. So walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, at Alice's Restaurant.
Adios, amigos!